Over the years, we've found better ways of doing them, creating PDFs, using our Finder or our Dropbox to find them, but this is as modern as we can make it. We're using something called an OCR reader, which is optical character recognition, and what it does is it reads in all of the data from a page, and then I use something called a regex pattern, which all of these people know, but for these people it's a regular expression, so it says only grab 4-digit numbers, because nearly all pattern numbers are 4-digit numbers. So what we do you want to start walking through the app
sure.
now? Okay.
So our application is completely made with React, and at the top at our nav bar we have two kind of layers to this. There is the user layer and there is the admin layer. And right now this is what a user would see, and at the top we have some favicons that take you to home. The shopping cart actually directs you to Corey's Shopify page where you can purchase the patterns. And then we also have this lock that will take you to the admin, which Corey will demonstrate that in just a minute. But right here we have a component that was made with something called Material UI. It's similar to using Bootstrap, and it is a scrolling image of the first 10 pages of a catalog. And then here, this is just a default image that will be mapped over once the user searches for a pattern number. So let's put in a pattern number and you'll see how it changes. And I want to kind of talk a little bit about how that was set up, which Corey completely made our database. So all these pages, like she said, her life work, I went into her mom's office and it is pages upon pages. And I was like, what do you do if there's a fire or like, a hurricane, water damage? And they'd be destroyed. So she's made all these PDFs, yes, which are just, files, and they were on her local server. But using that, it's called Molter. It is a Node middleware that uploads the PDF.
Right. So when we go to the admin page here, so this is from my side. So this is what the business would see.
And this, if she left out a password, it would have
given us a little warning. I should have done that on purpose. I'm sorry that I did not. So right here, this is for me to add. This is for me to add information to my database. So I can choose a company. I can choose let's choose the right company for the picture we're going to do. So my database is good. So we are going to. So our code brings up a box. You can go pick a file. In future development, I really would like to be able to do an array at a time. And the OCR reader, which is happening right now, okay, it's actually not quite happening right now. The OCR reader that would be happening right now and running on that progress bar, we've had some deployment issues today, will give you back an array of all of the pattern numbers that are on the page, and then that will trigger a series of events that will bring all of this information to my database, which is not just one collection. It's actually 4 different tables that describe the company, the catalog, the book, and then the page in the catalog, and then finally one database entry for each pattern number, so that you don't end up in an N2 situation where you're searching a whole bunch of different arrays. So, and that will allow people over time, as I populate this with tens of thousands of pages, to be able to quickly find their pattern page. And the people who will use this are fans of my business, people who are in my Facebook groups where they have a pattern. But I'm one of the only people in the United States who has a collection of catalogs like I do. So they will be able to actually get information that they couldn't get before, or they would have to request from me and hope that I had time to stop what I was doing and get it for them. And back in the day, we literally used to look these up by hand. So this is a major technological advancement for my business. And we are down the line going to deploy this. And initially, it's not going to have a subscription because I want to raise our Google SEO things for 6 months and do a beta testing period. But after that, it's going to be a subscription service that people will pay for, $10 a month to be able to look up as many things as they want. Oh, and then I should probably mention that all of these images are getting posted through the Amazon SDK to my Amazon S3 bucket, where they are now like creating a database that brings back a link that goes into my Mongo database, because you can't put pictures in a Mongo database, and especially not 10,000 pictures. So
Yeah,
that's
so
the back
can you
end.
imagine putting all of this in by hand? You could, switch a number around. You might have errors. This is a time saver. And I mean, the technology first was that middleware, the Multer.
Right.
And then the Tesseract, what it does is it reads off of, let's see, let me go to each picture has like a 4-digit pattern number. And that's what her OCR reader is grabbing, and then it puts it into a field for us as well in the database. And each, she has like 4 different collections in there, and they all reference each other, so it's pretty complicated. And then, like she said, MongoDB does not like images of like PDFs, so then she had to use the AWS to get an image URL for every single PDF page. So she's created this, and this is a fast way of doing it without having to enter all the data herself.
That is true.
Pretty amazing.
Yep. All right. We missed anything?
Future use. You kind of already said.
One thing about this is that the Tesseract function, and this is really just how it works, is very slow. And I do have a lot of pictures that already have the information in the title, the numbers that I need. So in future development, I would really like to add a quick upload option that will split the name of the file and use a regex pattern to pull the numbers that way, which would happen in a fraction of the time. So that's my fall project. And I guess that's about all
I think
that I
one
know.
last piece of technology we didn't mention is we used Firebase for the login.
Yeah.
And I guess one thing for me, future use, I had a hard time with the routes and redirecting the switches, because usually you start with a login page and then you don't want anyone else to see the rest of your pages until you're logged in. Well, that's not the case. We have a home page, and then we only want our...
Right, because we're just trying to lock down the admin function. And honestly, in future development, we will probably cleave these two things apart and have it be 2 separate applications, one to create the database and then one to make calls to it. So.
But when I was working with my tutor, he was, we were looking at state, and I'm really excited to learn
Redux.
Yes.
Because they told us that Redux would make this project a lot better. So
yeah,
we're
my
gonna
list of what
revisit.
to do when this class ends is getting very long, but that is on one of my first frameworks. Language that I'll be reading up on.
All right.
Any questions?
Yeah, I think we got it.
Is Tesseract actually finding those numbers on the picture?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tesseract is the OCR.
Yeah, the Tesseract is that is the optical character recognition. There's a couple different programs that do it, but the Tesseract is the most free and the most universal, so it's the one we picked.
And it can read word. I mean, it doesn't have to be numbers.
Yeah, but it's the regex pattern that says I just want this data from a page, because otherwise I would get a giant object with every single word on the page, which would not be particularly useful to me. So, all right, I guess that's about it. All right, thank you guys.